Okay, let's do it. Hey, I believe I am live. How's it going? What is up? I see Cornbread's like, I haven't started yet. I have. Well, I guess then he says there we are. I guess we are.
No living being should ever eat processed food.
No, they shouldn't. Okay. Send out the tweet. Send it out, sorry. Skip, can I hear what is up? Okay, I heard it. Don't forget to send it. It's sent out. What a dupe. Dope? Me? I don't know. Chan talks more movies. Hello. Ashley R. Hello. Austin. James Manning. Cornbread. Super Adusky. Sin Ram, who also saw stop motion. Shout out to him. Nathaniel Fogate. Garrett Newland. I think that's everyone. Did I say everyone who's in here? There's other people. Jordan Salafalo. Sorry, that was stupid. Why? Jordan Salafalo. He has a good name. Am I saying that right? I wonder if I'm mispronouncing it all this time. All right, sorry, I just saw a comment. Someone's like, you're right about Spider-Man 3. Good. Rocky Lomax, hey, Pup, hello. All right, let's just switch over because everyone knows. Oh, Lisa Franks, I saw that's on streaming, so you check out. This is my new cut, as they say, the kids say, I guess. Got a haircut, got a beard trim, trimming it up, making myself look nice. What? Okay, that's weird. Anyway, yeah, that's the deal. So tonight we're going to do a basically just a news show. I have nothing against. Thank you, James Manning. See, the problem with the delay is that's very nice of you, James Manning. We're just doing a news show just because I do have like an amazing backlog of the Rizzler. I don't understand the Riz thing. Does that just mean I got game or something? I don't understand. Or I look cool? I don't know what that means, to be honest. I haven't looked it up, nor do I use it. But anyway. Hello, Nattenbox64. But anyway, this is just going to be a new show, mostly because I just have like a ton. I think I have like two. Ryan Walterson's here. Hello, Ramsey. If I didn't say, did I say hello? Who knows? I should know. But anyway, I just have too many shot like videos basically that need to get edited. And so I was like, this is getting, oh, it's short for charisma. That makes sense. Okay. I literally didn't know that. Thank you. I just had too much stuff. I do want to do like the other Mickey Mouse. I actually want to do the Popeye 3 reelers, the Gisriel. Thank you, Ryan. I want to do other stuff with it. I'm not abandoning that because I like doing the segments, but I think sometimes there only might be one, just because like the Was Up one. I think there's another one that doesn't have a home right now. Austin didn't get a hello? I thought I did. Okay, well that's not cool. First off, we'll reveal. I think people know which. Where is it? Oh, it was revealed. It was guessed. But this is the Alni energy drink. It's cherry slush. Basically, while my daughter's at ballet and I hang out in the Target, that seems to be where I get these energy drinks. So, anyway, cheers to you, Austin. I apologize. I will say Austin, Austin, Austin. So maybe Beetlejuice will appear. I don't know. I think that's how it works. Cheers to you, Austin. Whoa. That's interesting. That hit me harder than I thought. That definitely wakes you up. I'm going to tell you that, which is good. I need that. Even though we're starting early, trust me, I need the energy. Yeah, anyway, I'm not against them. I love doing them. I just wanted to announce that tonight there isn't going to be one. Sometimes there won't be one. But sometimes there will. But tonight there isn't. We're just going to do movie news, do a break, and then do questions. Maybe we'll end early. Maybe we won't. I don't fucking know. But we'll do at least a 2-hour show. Other than that, life. It's been a little crazy. My son's a little sick tonight. And my wife's still out, but she might get back during the show. So If I do actually have Ace the Wind Rider made me an image for like when I take a break, and I loaded it up because there's an extreme possibility he could wake up and the show could just be over. So if I'm not, this is not an e-begging thing. This is not a scam. I just want to say this. If you did want to do a super chat, I would suggest doing it early because I don't know. Basically, it's a little crazy tonight with a sick kid. So I'm not trying to like extort you or something like that. It's just the possibility is there. So if you were gonna do that, do it soon. Is all I'm saying. I would never do hello purple goop. I'm not trying to be a. That's just all I'm saying. If this is what you want to do tonight, do it as soon as you can. That's all. And been a little stressful week. It's always a stressful week. I wasn't feeling very well. That's why Madam Web hasn't come out. I actually felt inspired. So I saw stop motion. I'll tell you this, but I saw stop motion, and I need to shoot a review. But it was basically like when I looked on my Regal app, it was like the rows before the, I guess it's called like the high rise part. Hello, Javier Partello. The high rise part of it. It was like all those rows, but nothing else. And I go, obviously this app is broken, but I'll select my seat because you have to, which that I can make a whole video about how I hate seat selection, but whatever. And I thought, oh, it's fucking broken. That clearly there's other seats. And then I got to this theater and it's in the Regal Union Square, and it was like wait, where is this theater? And it's like way in the back in a corner, and it was like one screen was Mean Girls the musical still, and on the other screen was stop motion. I was like, ouch, stop motion. This is like your first week. So there wasn't anybody there, but I did go, but it was kind of funny. Before I just tell more, the new Kevin James stand-up special was kind of bad. I'm sorry, Bloxy. I've not actually seen stuff. Thank you, everyone who's being understanding also about that. I apologize. I don't mean to be forceful or anything. But cheers to you, Bloxy. I'm sorry about the Kevin James thing. Cheers to you. Can a Bluetooth keyboard for your phone? That's awesome. Does that work well? I've always wondered. Anyway, so yeah, it was actually kind of packed for the small screening on a Tuesday, but anyway, it was a cool movie. I enjoyed it, but I will do a further one later, and I will have the next video will be Madam Web. I've had so many issues where like my camera got weird in the middle of it, and and every time I try to edit, but Virtual Insanity. Okay, so I saw stop motion. I came home, did dishes, all that stuff. And I was like, I don't know if I want to finish something. And I had like this, I started working on Virtual Insanity. I had like this creative like inspiration. I'm like, but I can make a song and I can do this and I can do that and all this stuff. And so it's kind of like this hour of intense creative inspiration kind of thing, which I probably could have. I think Madam Web needed more time than that would have taken to just do all of Virtual Insanity. But, it was like this real creative, inspired, like hour of making the music, editing the video, all that stuff. It was fun. But I really had a good time making that video. To be honest with you, it was like kind of a weird day, and you see stop motion, and that fucked with my brain, and then I'm like had this creative inspiration at like midnight. But it was cool. I was like, not that I'm not creatively fulfilled or anything like that, but it was like one of the few times I'm suddenly like let's get into this, and I got whoosh. So I have things to say about that Pepsi thing in that video. They're not what you expect. Maybe it's anyway. All right, I think that's it for that. Oh, sorry, I put up 2 videos one day. That was honestly because another thing is the Jodie Foster part 2 had all sorts of issues. There is a part of that goes into David Fincher's The Game that's just going to be on Patreon. So if you are a patron, that will come out this weekend. That I just thought, like, I don't know if the general public cares about this, but I'm super interested in it. I guess, and I was like, I was gonna include it, and I kept, anyway, it's stupid. I don't know if I can have the time to do 2 videos at once, like that, maybe with a short, but it sort of depends, but that sort of worked out. It was dumb because I didn't have a video the next day, so should not have done that, honestly, but it was an interesting way to do it. Anyway, sorry. You think he saw stuff. I think I saw stop motion. Who thinks he saw? I know Sinram did. If Sinram wants to tell a review anywhere. Yeah. All right. You came here for movie news. Sorry. I like to just like fill you in on what's going on. Hello, a guy named Crystal. Fill you in on what's going on. I've seen a lot of stuff actually. I saw Zone of Interest, also, which I'll review out eventually. Getting ready for the Oscars. Don't know if I'll do a Oscars prediction as a separate stream or it'll be part of the next movie crap. We'll see. Hello, Untitled Project. Watching this with my wife. Hello, Untitled Project's wife. I hope you're doing well. Mrs. Untitled Project or Ms. I don't actually know how those things work, so don't get offended. But I hope your wife is doing good. Thank you for watching this as a couple. It makes, I don't know, sorry, I'm stupid. Austin, they released a bad edit because a better edit wouldn't be notable, so they went with the room edit crowd? What? Anyway, all right. I think that's everything. Right? Whatever. All right, let's get into where's my script? Oh my god. Doing this on a Thursday an early time threw me off today more than I thought it would. Even though this was my idea. I was like, I want to do this. I keep you guys up too much. I want some new people if they've always wanted to be here. That was my idea. And like even in the Discord, I sent the wrong anyway. Untitled Life. All right. Hello. Unfortunately, I found. Oh, what? Yeah, but I kind of like. I don't know. I kind of like genre in that way, but okay. Well, I appreciate Sidram that you saw it. I appreciate that. So thank you for doing that and supporting that movie. I mean, I don't know. I think it. Well, I'll make a review later, but I appreciate that you saw it. You did. I didn't force Sidram. He chose to. He told me, and I was like, oh, okay. Congrats. Well, thank you for the super chat, Sidram. Cheers to you. Oh, all right. That was a cat. I kind of yelled at one of my cats tonight, and he's been avoiding me. He kept walking in front of me. What genre? Nice, Sodberg. He kept walking. Anyway, sorry. I feel kind of bad about it. If we see Toulouse. He kept walking in front of me while I'm dealing with a sick kid, getting rid of this, and I lost my patience. And he's definitely does not want to see me right now. Anyway, my Madam Web theory is it was Pepsi Man's movie script where they replaced the word Pepsi Man with Spider and Madam Web. I like that. I do have things to say on the Pepsi element of the Pepsi thing that I noticed has been forgotten in a lot of reviews. Though. But cheers to you, awesome. Thank you for the super chat. All right. Hello, notification. All right. So this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through super chat where I drink this slushy thing that is. This is intense. You know, I always see this in Target and slices, and I was like, I don't know, it's probably like healthy. It says 0 sugar, and it is like the sugariest shit I've ever drank in my fucking life. Like, what the fuck is going on here? It says 0 sugar. I don't believe that. Vegan? This is not what that tastes like. Definitely has caffeine in it. But, anyway, moving on. Sorry. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through a super chat during the show where I drink this, whatever this is, and and sorry, or through Patreon where you get all sorts of exclusive stuff, including a bonus thing about movies Jodie Foster was almost in, or my commentary series, or postcards that are actually going to be mailed out this weekend, which they are finished, but they're mailing anyway. They're actually in them. Well, they're about to be in the mail. Doesn't matter. You get all sorts of bonus stuff, and you help support the channel. Help me like update equipment. Hello, Jordan. Update. Get stickers, get flyers, all sorts of stuff. Help me spread the word on the channel. Help me try to feed my family and all sorts of other things. And just help me keep going and keep doing this thing. And I very much appreciate it if you're financially able to do so. If you do a super chat during the show, I will read it out and drink this weird-ass fucking drink and so forth and so on. Also, just because, I don't know, life is always rough and you can make it a little a little easier, I guess, as well as help me be able to keep doing this and keep doing what I can. What else? Oh, but if you're just watching this, I want to say thank you very much. You can always like this video. That's just a very simple way. If you're like non-committal, you can subscribe and you can get things like throwbacks, which I should have talked about the throwbacks. I have a cool thing coming up on Friday. You can get my throwback videos. You can get notifications about when I'm doing the live streams and stuff like that. But if you just occasionally watch this on your feed and stuff, I want to say thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Just for watching, still supports the channel. Let's be real on that. And I really appreciate you being here. But if you are financially able to do more, I appreciate that as well. But if you're just here to watch, I am thankful that you are. Thank you, Vanilla Butterfly. See, it worked out, and I was like, Smart Plug is watching this with my husband. We're getting all these like couples tonight. What's going on? Is Leap Day? I forgot 2 things I was supposed to. I didn't put in my notes. I forgot Leap Day. So first off, sorry to mention throwbacks. I did Ernest and Celestine. I didn't write the greatest thing because Ryan pointed out in the Discord. I should have mentioned that he directed Migration, which was just real stupid of me. The second thing is Alphabet Soup. If you haven't watched that, I'm doing sort of 20 years of certain of my student films that have been on the internet for about 20 years. They really don't have release dates. I don't think playing in my film class counts, but they were on cletusthefetus.com. They're on YouTube. I think it's been on YouTube like 15 years or something. There's going to be a whole write-up about when I did Alphabet Soup. That I think that's like the second. Have I done another? I don't know if. Yeah. Anyway, so if you've never seen the Alphabet Soup video, I recommend it. It's a cool video. It's one of the first kind of cool things. Second, before we get into it, it is Leap Day. Wow, I am like taking too long. I'm sorry. It's William Wellman's birthday. If you don't know William Wellman, he's a great film director. I've done 60 videos of his films. He's a classic Hollywood director that directed the first film to win Best Picture up until the 50s. My favorite film of his is Public Enemy. He's done everything from the Oxbow incident to Wings to the story of G.I. Joe to Battleground to Public Enemy. With the 30s are kind of his peak period to most people, but I think he did good stuff in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 50s. He ended in the 50s. But anyway, even Track of the Cat, which is celebrating a thing, anniversary this year. It's probably going to be a throwback later. Anyway, let's actually get into it. I'm so sorry that this is taking long. Hello for noticing my haircut, Daniel Bergen. Now, we're going to start. I'm sorry that we keep getting things about Coyote vs. Acme, but it keeps being a story. I didn't link the Twitter thing, and I should have. Whatever. So basically, what? Do we have it? Fuck. Well, I posted it, and I'm gonna find it. But oh shit! Sorry, Austin. As you can tell, I'm a little frazzled. Okay. Also, if you like the community in the chat, I recommend the Discord. It has all sorts of cool things. Specifically, it has the all sorts of awesome stuff like General is the licensed playing card channel where you can see the absolute worst licensed playing cards that have ever existed. These they do movie watches. They're doing probably one this weekend. They do all sorts of cool stuff. Cornbread does the thumbnail predictions. St. Power and Austin do an amazing job with the Discord. It's a great community. It's wonderful. They do a question every day. The day before on the Discord, I say, what things do you want me to talk about in Movie Crap Live? It's a great community. If you like hanging out in the chat, I highly recommend joining up on the Discord. It's the Discord I'm most active in. That is 100% true, actually. So if you want that community, you should. I also have an Instagram, a TikTok, a Twitter, a Facebook fan page, a Tumblr. It's all in the description down below, as well as the Discord link if you would like to join, and I recommend you do so. I'm sorry about that, and I've eaten up. I'm glad we don't have a segment tonight, because that would have fucked this up. All right, so back to Coyote vs. Acme. So this keeps being a story because first we heard since the last show that what we do know is Warner Brothers does not want to say they deleted it or it's an official write-off, although we know they did a write-off of a few properties for about $100 million. Many think that is Coyote versus Acme and Salem's Lot. However, we don't know what that exactly is. Let's go to the super chat. What are we doing? Okay, so Pop Culture Guy 3000 said, I wish my TV wasn't busted so I could properly watch my favorite 30 Rock episode, the Leap Day Holiday Special. Leap Day Williams was an inspired invention. I remember that. They did a lot of Leap Day stuff in the 2010s, like episodes on sitcoms. I was always curious, like, why that was. Anyway, cheers to you, Pop Culture. But yeah, so we saw on we saw that they did do write-offs, and I think most people thought that was Coyote versus Acme. We do know that they don't want to publicly keep talking about it because this is becoming such a PR issue. However, there's also been news that they don't actually delete anything. Like Batgirl isn't deleted, Scoob Holiday Haunt isn't deleted, Salem's Lot is potentially not deleted. I do not understand why they're just deleting these movies and not just throwing them on Max, because Coyote vs. Acme has so much publicity, as well as the Scoob thing. It's just like very curious why. Anyway, so we knew that like something happened, whether it was Coyote vs. Acme or whatever got deleted, we don't know. And then today we got an amazing letter from Will Forte, who said basically to the cast and crew, I'll just read it so you guys know what it is, if that's okay. I can't do a Will Forte, I'm just going to read it in my voice. To the cast and crew of Coyote vs. Acme, I know that a lot of you haven't gotten a chance to see our movie, and sadly it's looking like you never will. When I first heard that our movie was getting deleted as in quotes, I hadn't seen it yet. So I was thinking what everyone else must have been thinking. This must be a hunk of junk. But then I saw it, and it's incredible. Super funny throughout, visually stunning, sweet, sincere, and emotionally resonant in a very earned way. As the credits rolled, I just sat there thinking how lucky I was to be a part of something so special. That quickly turned to confusion and frustration. This was the movie they're not going to release. Look, when it comes to Hollywood business stuff, I don't know shit about shit. Even when a movie tests very well, like ours, there's no guarantee that it's going to be a hit. And at the end of the day, people who paid for this movie can obviously do whatever they want with it. It doesn't mean I have to like it. I fucking hate it. Or agree with it. And it doesn't mean that this movie is anything less than magnificent. You would be so proud of it, a movie that should be seen but won't. Please know that all the years and years of hard work, dedication, and love that you put into this movie shows in every frame. That's all, folks. Will Forte. So I thought that was honestly, I think I said on Twitter, it's actually sort of inspiring, and it actually is. But we're actually going to talk a little bit about Warner's at the beginning here. And I think there's no way this doesn't suck. And I think this is hitting everyone as it keeps expanding, because this is like the story that won't go away. It's like, obviously been in the thumbnail and stuff. It's like either that or Avatar right now. I'm sorry. I'm becoming one of those channels, I guess. But it just like will not go away, because I think as it's gone on, we're like, why the fuck is this not released? And a lot of people are saying, oh well, it's because there was no studio pushback. Like Tom Cruise, Margot Robbie, Ryan Coogler, all these people signed big deals in spite of knowing that this is a possibility. Now, I think maybe the difference is Warner's does not know what to do with Looney Tunes, which I actually have a thing going with this, so we'll get to it. But I do think this was a colossal fuck up, that it's like, just put it on Max, man. Like what is the deal? This is just perpetually bad press for you. And like, if it's like, it would actually go away if we could see it. Like Will Forte, people wouldn't keep adding to it, because people are like, no, I want to say more. This is fucked up. And the fact that like people won't let it go, to me is like, is this worth this at this point? Like, and I want to know, like, did any of these big stars, when they signed deals, were like, well, I have to put a thing in my contract now that you can't just bury it, basically. Like I don't know. And James Gunn, who was involved, and apparently Peter Safran as well, I agree, like Javier Bartel is bringing up, they have said nothing. And I'm not sure what's going on there. And I think it is pretty pathetic. But I'm not blaming those stars because I don't know what they said in those meetings. And I know everyone's like, well, they didn't give a shit. Maybe they do give a shit. And maybe they're like, Warner's is having a harder time making these deals because maybe people like, look, Tom Cruise is a very smart producer. And in my mind, he probably asked for like a lot more control because he was like, y'all are going to fuck me. And same with Coogler, who got his copyright, with Warner's would not do for Tarantino. So in my mind, the backlash of this is that Warner's is probably signing these deals and realizing like we're getting fucked on every one because everybody's looking at it like, I can't trust you. Which is like, not, Warner's is still a major studio, regardless of how I feel about David Zaslav. They are, but David Zaslav can get fired. He's like the worst executive, and I hate that like Disney and all these other companies are like, oh man, we should do what he does. Like, it fucking sucks. Like, not only is he the worst one, the fact that people are like, you know who I should be like? I'm like, Jesus fucking like, what, why would you want to be like him? Just, anyway. No, I hope everyone who signs a deal signs like the most money hungry fucking deal and fucks them so hard. Like, that's really what I want at this point. Like, it's like, fine, you want to do business with Warner Brothers, fine. I want the creative people to get the money and the profits and the percentages. Like, Warner's should not get this at this point. In other, sorry, as other, I have watched the video where he's booed. That's like, there are two videos that are like not mentally not plausible. Sorry. There are two videos of people acting a fool that I watch too regularly, and it's like that one and let's see about this. The Christian Harloff getting upset about the Star Wars not getting to go to Galaxy's Edge. Those are like my two, like, mentally probably not the healthiest thing, but I'll watch them and go like, wow, they're like, both these people are terrible. Anyway, like, I've never liked the Schmoes, all right? I've heard they're nice people, but I haven't met them. All right, so we also learned that 130 Looney Tunes shorts are coming to Max on March 1st, but also in some weird Thanos snap kind of bullshit, seriously, 130 shorts are leaving, which is like, and we don't know which, what is this like, what? I don't understand. Oh my god, they just hate. Anyway, so there's a reason I want to talk about Universe, and then I actually have some Tubi stuff, but what we have learned is Warner's has said they're not pursuing Paramount, which I actually thought the Paramount Warner's thing was a better idea than Paramount Universal, because Paramount Universal I think will become a major company, but I think there's problem. I mean, first off, I don't want either of these. I don't want them to be bought or sold. I think this is terrible for the industry. I think it's bad for movies. I think it's bad for creativity. But if it was a Warner's Paramount thing, even though it would pretty much decimate children's television because Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network would merge, and like, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but that's not going to work out for Cartoon Network. However, it looks like Warner's, who can't really do anything till April, yet we still hear news of things they are doing. So I'm not exactly sure how legal that is, but apparently it is. So whatever is apparently majorly considering Universal. So we'll get Max Cock. Max Cock, that's what it's, look, it's going to be Max Cock, guys. I think, let's be real. Everybody, someone buy that domain now. I know we're talking about it before, but it's continuing to be a thing. It is still a thing. This isn't a stop motion thing. Anyway, the Pop Culture Guy 3000 says, now imagining Bob Iger saying, I want to be like you to David Zaslav. My mind's a strange place. I mean, I like it. I love it. I love it, Pop Culture Guy. Thank you. Cheers to you. All right. So I wanted to say that info now for a reason. There's like, I'm telling a story, bro. So we learned that this actually, I think Max Cock, come on, how do you not make him Max Cock? Do you want streaming inserted in your face? Take it with Max Cock. All right. God. So we learned that there is going to be a Jurassic League movie. What that is there is a comic called Jurassic League. Basically, the Justice League, but with dinosaurs, basically. That's like the whole thing. Instead of zombies, they're dinosaurs, which I think is kind of like, is that envious of, because that was in a Spider-Verse comic. Was that before, the Marvel DC thing gets so confusing, but was Spider Tyrannosaurus Rex pre Jurassic League? Does anyone know? I'm a little confused about that. Anyway, so we learned that this is a real movie, not like a streaming movie. Like, this is going to be a theatrical film at some point. It takes supposedly about, they're saying 3 to 4 years to really make a major animated film. This would be considered more a thing for families or children. And they brought in Minions writer Brian Lynch. The other thing about this is there's 2 versions of this. Most people who reported on it said they heard the concept of Jurassic League, not necessarily the comic. So when most people hear that, they think, Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Flash, and Wonder Woman as dinosaurs. But what they've been told is, this film hasn't been written, so it's like, who the fuck knows, is either we're going to get one where Corn Sweat, or whatever the fuck his name is playing Superman as a dinosaur, as well as whoever's playing Batman or whatever would be, because they said the deal with how they sign contracts for Superman is not only your Superman in the movie, your Superman in cartoons and video games and all that shit. So in theory, he could be. However, if they don't want to have to cast a Flash at this point, they can mix out people, basically. So it won't be a specific exact classic Justice League. They might do a different formation or something like that, or maybe just have, I don't know, but they're open to that. The only thing why I brought this up is Brian Lynch is a Minions writer, which, by the way, I actually want the studio did whatever that studio is who did Captain Underpants. That's who actually I would want to do this, but whatever. But if you're getting Brian Lynch, I know he's worked with Warner's and Universal. And I want to send this out there, that a couple things about the merger is that, why are you doing this if you're signing with Universal in theory? Clearly, your animation is going to be run by Chris Meledandri, and having him have a Jurassic thing makes that sale a little better. Let's be real on that. I think it does. I might be reading into things. Also, if Warner's and Universal merge together, would that mean Chris Meledandri is not only running Illumination DreamWorks, he would also be running Warner's Animation, which would make him the most powerful person in animation possibly ever. Or more powerful than like Bob Iger and Pete Docter and Jennifer Lee, which he already is Jennifer Lee and Pete Docter, but he would be like bigger than Lasseter, more power than Lasseter ever had. In all seriousness. Now, the good thing is, I will get you Nathaniel Focus. Sorry, I just want to finish this, but I appreciate, thank you. Is that, would Chris Meledandri do a better job at running Looney Tunes? I actually think he would. So there's actually some hope if you like Looney Tunes in that merger. The others is like anyone who works for either of those companies who likes having a job. But as far as Bugs Bunny, it could really work out. Anyway, Nathaniel Foga says, "Hey Jim, just thought I'd let you know that Ian is an additional voice in the new Final Fantasy game, so that's pretty neat." I actually thought I knew that. Anyway, good for Ian. Good for him. I'm glad I know he likes I don't know if you saw the cover of RPG World, but well known Final Fantasy person. I think he deserves it. Cheers to you, Nathaniel. Thank you for reminding me. I think I might have. Anyway, it's good for him because I know he likes. Look at the cover of the RPG World book. Cheers to you. Anyway, I wanted to combine all the Warner's Universal thing to just express all my thoughts on that together. So, but I don't know. I think Chris Meledandri could do a better job with Warner's, or he could put, or put someone in charge that does. He seems, I don't know. Thing is like, is he doing the smart thing of realizing? See, okay, the rehabilitation of Chris Meledandri and Illumination, I'm very skeptical of. But is he, in theory, repairing his image because he knows if he runs all that, people have to sort of like him, and he's like repairing all this in preparation for that? Think about it. Anyway, or maybe he's actually been cool this whole time and we didn't. How will this affect Jim talking about the unholy algorithm of company utilization? How will this affect Bugs Bunny? Yeah, that's true. All right. Moving on. So I gotta go. Okay, guys, I gotta break. Hold on. I gotta do something right now. So we got Tubi news. I know you're excited. Everyone calm down. One, we learned that Netflix might raise their prices because they do that all the time. That's like a thing they do. But motherfucker, Tubi is free. Tommy Tubi called me this weekend. I was like, hey, Jim, I got some bad news. First off, Tubi's got Martin. I was like, you mean the Martin Lawrence sitcom? No, fuck you. Come on, man. Let's be real about this shit. Martin, George... Did I hear somebody? Oh, fuck. Okay, hold on. I'm going to be right back. The gift works. All right, I'm going to be right back. I need to go check on something, and then I will return. I apologize. Sorry, I hear somebody crying. I'll be right back. I'm sorry, I just went into Tommy TV. Bad timing, I guess. I'll be right back. Sorry, art credit to Ace the Windrider, by the way. All right, we're back. I don't know what that. He was not awake. He was asleep. I think just sometimes they yell out in their dreams, which is interesting when they do that. It actually happened to me. I'll get back to Tommy Tubi in a second. It actually happened to me when I was watching Skinamarink, and he'll just randomly, like in the middle of the night, go like, just like yell, and then I'll come in and it'll just be like definitely asleep. Oh, hey! Ace the Wit. Yeah, I'm going to start putting you'll have a credit in the description, Ace. I'm sorry. I just got it to work tonight, so that will be in the description. And I want to thank you. Send me a link and for your stuff, but thank you very much for having that, especially tonight. I really needed it. Yeah, so my experience with Skinamarink was like, all this creepy liminal shit, and then suddenly like some random scream in the middle going, ah! I'd be like, what the fuck? All right. So Tommy Tubi called me. He's like, Jim, I got Martin. And I was like, just to catch you guys up, continuity wise. I was like, oh, the show of Martin Lawrence. He's like, no, come on, that's fucking bullshit. I got George Romero's Martin on fucking Tubi. All right. We got the goods on fucking Tubi. I got George Romero's Martin right now. And I'm like, that's incredible. He goes, yeah, I remember you referencing your shitty cartoon or whatever, but it's on the Tubi. But I got bad news. Like, I got good news, Netflix is going up, but Tubi, it stays the same. Just like me. I never changed. I'm Tommy Tubi. I was Tommy Tubi before there was a Tubi. I'll be Tommy Tubi after there's a Tubi. It doesn't fucking matter to me. But point is, they changed the fucking logo, bro. They changed the fucking logo. They changed it. It's like what the fuck is it? Purple and fucking yellow. Tubi used to Tubi used to mean something. Used to be red. Now it's like, I don't know. It's like one of those superheroes who's not the main superhero, but it's on the Avengers or something. Anyway, Tommy was a little upset about that, but I think if you notice the Tubi, but Tubi's has Martin, and Martin's, I actually, for real though, I wish Cletus was on TV. Martin is one of the better George Romero movies. I would put it up there with Dawn and Night of the Living Dead. And I would say it's up there. It's up there. You should check it out if you never have. It's free. It's on Tubi. All right. Moving. Where are we? Where's the script there? Is it over here? Oh, that's my downloads folder. Did I lose it in the... Oh my gosh. Did the script disappear? No, there you are. Okay. Jim gets lost on his own computer. This is what you're tuned in for. This is what you're really here to watch, is me get lost to my own tabs. Avatar. What about the Avatar? All right. So I don't know if you heard about the AI stuff. I wanted to explain that a little because that deserves explanations, actually. So there are two AI stories. The Tyler Perry one is a little easier to explain, and I think once you know it, you're like, oh, okay. So he has an $800 million, almost $1 billion studio, or it's $800 million. He's been building in Atlanta, or more studio space. A lot of stuff shoots in Atlanta, and he's making more and more studio space to shoot more and more shows, which I don't really watch, but I expect they're just like that Atlanta episode. But supposedly he said he's going to stop production on it because he's seen what AI can do. With what AI can do, and so he's stopping that because he wants to reassess. Supposedly this isn't, I think Tyler Perry, yes, is evil enough to use AI to make movies. That's not a debate, honestly. But supposedly a lot of reporters said it's actually more to do with the Georgia government not giving tax write-offs to Tyler Perry. And so he decided to play hardball and say, like, well, what if there are no new jobs? If you're not giving me tax write-offs, why should I build all this stuff if I'm not getting significant tax write-offs or tax incentives and things like that? So it's actually more to him fucking around with the Georgia government than it actually is that Sora is going to make a Tyler Perry movie. So apparently it's actually more kind of shitty than you could have imagined. So if you saw that and you're like, oh my god, there's going to be Tyler Perry AI movies. Not really. Supposedly he's just like trying to play hardball with the Georgia government. Sidram says the seems to be a recurring issue with your tools vanishing mid-show. Well, that's part of my charm, right? Well, it's less tools. It's more that I don't like to have a million tabs. I like to have like windows. So it's like, anyway, it's a bad idea, but I do it. Cheers to you, sir. Anyway, the other one was that the movie Roadhouse used AI during the strike for various actors' voices. Roadhouse, the remake that you never thought you'd ever give a shit about, but keeps perpetually making movie stories, like the Jake Gyllenhaal, Doug Liman one that turned out to not. That whole thing was a mess if you really look into it, where they said. Anyway, that's the whole thing. But supposedly, because they're going to run out of the copyright of the movie during the strike, they had to finish certain things because of production, and they did that with AI. It's been heavily hinted at through things that through AI, various other productions did this to get things moving further along so they could actually get more of their movie finished during the strike. This is just the first one we've heard about. A lot of people have suggested that there could be more of these stories coming to light in the coming weeks or months. We'll see if that is going to happen. But right now, this is the only one that we are publicly aware of at this time. But I wouldn't be surprised if you heard of more of like voiceovers and things like that. Or they, did an AI version of it to edit to and then had someone redub it, which is bizarre, but I could totally see happening. Which doesn't make sense. Wouldn't you just... Anyway, that's a hyperbole I made up. But basically, they did do that. It's fucked up. And apparently there's more productions that possibly did that. This is the first one we are hearing about. Roadhouse is another one where, like, man, that story with Gyllenhaal and Doug Liman was such a faceplant. Anyway, we learned today, we saw the first look of The Crow. Since that is a June release date, we still haven't seen a trailer. It just looks like, I think it's Bill Skarsgård as the Crow. He just looks like the David Ayer kind of Jared Leto Joker kind of thing. I was honestly a little disappointed. I thought it was a little too typical of the time period. I think they could do a little bit more with it, but I'm like, I don't want to throw this movie out because I grew up, The Crow is a big movie and I was into comic books as a kid. Then I was too young to see that movie in theaters, but then I saw it a ton in the 90s and the soundtrack was a big deal and all those things. So it's like not a franchise I'm just like pshaw with. I will probably review the original movie around that time because I haven't seen it in a long time. And isn't Trini from the Yellow Ranger, isn't she in that? Or am I wrong about that? I forget. Or if it was like a rumor people said in the 90s and I believed it. Then when you look it up, you're like, oh, okay, maybe not true. I forget if she is or not. I think she is. Anyway. We got a first look at Tron Ares. Looks fine, very red. I thought Tron was like blue and stuff, but I guess we're going with red. Doesn't red on a computer is not a good... Oh, I guess it's because it's bad. You know what? It makes more sense now. Anyway, Greta Lee's in that. I hope she gets some money from it because... she didn't get a nomination. Past Lives is like, I don't know. To me, of the best pictures, it's like Past Lives and Killers of the Flower Moon. Let's talk about. I'm sort of bouncing around, but let's talk about this story that came out of Paramount. 3 movies announced. First, we got the Puppy Dog Propaganda movie 3. Good for that. Not going to talk about that much, but. We also learned that Mutant Mayhem... Okay, sorry. I'm very on edge about any noise, so apologies. We also learned that Mutant Mayhem 2, which is going to be from the same director, will be on October 9th, 2026. I'm very curious where Tales of TMNT fits into this. I mean, I was hardcore about How to Train Your Dragon and watched Riders with Burke. And let me tell you, that had nothing to do with How to Train Your Dragon 2. So I'm curious what's going to happen there. But I'm happy they announced a sequel, as well as we got the Naked Gun franchise with Liam Neeson. I've been hearing about this for so long, and I heard about it from a friend. He was like, I know they've been thinking about it before it even got announced. So it's been like, I first heard about it in like 2009, maybe. But we learned that this is a Naked Gun movie with Akiva Schaffer, directed by Akiva Schaffer, who is part of Lonely Island, helped produced by Seth MacFarlane from Fuzzy Door. I think this could be really cool. If you saw Liam Neeson, a lot of people are bringing up his thing on Life's Too Short with Ricky Gervais, and that's funny. But also, like, I'm getting the impression a lot of people didn't watch this season of Atlanta, but he did a thing making fun of his weird public statement about what was it, that when his friend was raped and he wanted to just like kill like just a random black guy and stuff. That was one of the weirdest, because I read a thing on the reporter, and the reporter was like, looked at the publicist and we're like, can we like, I should not report this, right? And the publicist was like, no. And Liam Neeson's like, no, you should. And I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, that I remember reading that, and I was like, I like that, like everyone was like, let's like not do this, and he was like, no, let's do it. And you're like, no, what the? Why would you do that? Like, anyway, I mean, it's cool he's making fun of himself, but to my understanding, like almost everyone tried to kill it, and he was like, no, I want this out there, and I'm like, why would you want that out there? I don't. One of the weirdest public statements I ever heard. Anyway, but he did make fun of it in the Atlanta episode. It was pretty funny, but it was like, Ryan's bringing up Leslie Nielsen, Liam Neeson. Coincidence? I think not. I think it could be funny. He's very good at doing that deadpan thing, which Leslie Nielsen was very good at and stuff like that. I think one of the things I will say that I think could work, that worked about, one thing that's sort of lost, and it actually ties into William Wellman, look at me, on Leap Day, his birthday, that's get lost in Airplane, is like Robert Stack in particular is cast in that, because he was in a huge hit called The High and the Mighty, which is about airplane. He was in like airplane disaster movies, Robert Stack, and so it was like a joke that Robert Stack was in that movie. But because The High and the Mighty was actually not publicly available from it never got a VHS release. I think it played on TV the last time in 1985 and didn't get released again until 2006. So it basically like disappeared for 20 years. And so just got erased from people's consciousness. Same with like, I think Leslie Nielsen did a few of those too. So a lot of that stuff that like it's making fun of, people don't actually know because they couldn't see it. But I think much like those were referencing those people in the films they're parodying, I think if you make a Naked Gun referencing Liam Neeson stuff, it could be actually really funny. So if the people making that know that, a lot of people don't know that about Airplane now, because The High and the Mighty, which is literally the film that established that genre that Airplane is making fun of, was unavailable for 20 years. And I don't know why. I think it's because it was under John Wayne's weird production company that he had for a little bit. But just, anyway, it's like real stupid that unfortunately part of the film history of it is erased. But you could use that in that, which I kind of think is what they're doing, to be honest with you. All right, so sorry if I'm like, I feel like it might have explained that before, but just in case. So the Avatar live action thing continues to be just this strange situation. Sorry, I wanted to get up the ratings and I forgot to. So we did learn that in its first week, it topped with 21.2 viewers in its opening weekend. It reached the top 10 in 92 countries. That got most watched title of the week from the Swedish disaster film The Abyss. It sounds like it did well, but I do think I don't know, I've noticed this kind of weird backlash because I think people know that a lot of people aren't really happy about it, and I'm one of them, certainly, but even people I know who kept watching, like most people who are into the show, and I actually haven't seen all of Avatar, I've seen like parts. I did like the first season, but I kind of wanted to watch it with my kids later, so I was sort of like saving it to enjoy later. But I have seen the whole first season, so I knew the context of the original that I was watching and so forth. But I it does feel like the backlash online is people like being like very much adamant of like, well, you might think this is bad, but I actually really like it and all this stuff. And I find it to be very odd, and it did do well, and it sounds like they're probably going to make a season 2. But it does stink when you keep hearing these people say like, oh, well, isn't it good that people are hearing the story? And I'm like, well, couldn't they? I don't know. I don't understand. I think most people's thing is like they hate superhero movies, and I just hate live action remakes of things because I just don't like. There is an actual cinematic influence that superhero movies have on certain things, and other kind of genres that people might not like have on film culture. And I am very surprised that there's virtually no influence from live action remakes. Like, what is the actual influence other than making more live action remakes? They're like a shit genre unto themselves that don't reference each other. So it's just I don't like them. I don't see the use for them other than Speed Racer and Pete's Dragon, which I guess Pete's Dragon, does that count? I don't know. I don't know, but it just, yeah, I have noticed the thing online is people being like, well, if you look at how good this performance is, you shouldn't criticize it, you're just being a hater and so forth. But I do think like none of it has any real agency to it or an interesting twist, or like if somebody had an interesting idea with it and they just don't. And I think, the closest we've had is like maybe The Little Mermaid. I know that represented a lot to people, but I think most people unfortunately do really like this thing and are just okay with it. And I don't know, this is just going to continue to happen. And then I heard later in the week that the Naruto live action movie from Daniel Day Kim, who directed Shang-Chi, because he was selected for that, and the reaction to it bugged me. Not that I've never seen Naruto. I know that people run weird and stuff, cool. But it was kind of sad when people were, I noticed there's this constant narrative of, oh, well, he's doing this, and a lot of people will see it, and he'll get to like use his storytelling things, and people are like, oh man, he probably couldn't do that with Marvel. And I'm like, so he's making a different movie for a different corporation? Like, I don't really understand like what people think he could do with this. I like certain elements of Shang-Chi, but I just find it to be distressing when I hear the reactions to that. It's like so many people are like, oh, now you can really show off, rather than like, it's like, I understand if you do one franchise thing to like get things going, like I guess people use Nolan, but like you look at what Ryan Coogler's doing presently, or other directors, but it kind of bums me out when it's like, oh, my whole filmography is just going from property to property, and I sort of lose like interest in them. And I think Daniel Day Kim could use his kind of buzz from something like Shang-Chi to make something interesting. I mean, like, hey, he got Tony Leung to be an American movie. Like, that's pretty insane. Like, he should be doing other stuff than fucking the Naruto remake, which everyone's gonna hate. So I don't know. I know people said, oh, well, he's good at the fighting and stuff. I'm like, I guess, but like, I just find this to be kind of boring. Like, I don't think it shows any oh, I'm gonna hope those are fireworks. Oh, they were. Okay. I don't know. I just find it an extreme lack of creativity. Now, if he's gonna direct it like the fucking Speed Racer, cool. If he's gonna do something interesting with it that's visually amazing, but if they're gonna do that like, live action remake thing where everything just looks darker and crappier and more modern, then I would prefer not to watch that or it be made at all, because I don't really see much of a point in it. They're fine. I saw the light. Don't worry. Yeah, the Avatar fans are coming for me. Leap Day fireworks. Everybody knows you shoot off fireworks at 10:30 on Leap Day. Everybody knows that. All right, so we learned 2 X-Men 97 things. One, it's going to come out weekly, which I think is a good move for that show. I might do like because it was always hard to do reviews of episodes when I was doing like WandaVision or when is Mando season 1 and stuff. I might just do shorts for that. We're gonna see. I was planning on doing the first one anyway, so maybe we'll see how I feel about that. But that's sort of my plan. And then we keep seeing this thing of like X-Men so woke now every day or so, and it's like the geeks and gamers crowd, I guess. I like when people are like, "Oh, Storm has a mohawk," and I alluded to this on Twitter, but like I actually do know. So when Storm had her mohawk in the '80s and went all hardcore punk, I think people missed this actually at the time, but like hardcore punk was like punk had its thing in the '70s, then they changed it to new wave for marketing reasons, and but hardcore punk kind of just stayed in the underground, did not go mainstream whatsoever, and mainstream people like just did not like it. Like they were like viscerally hated that shit. And so when I was rereading comics, the Claremont run, and I knew more about hardcore punk, I read the issues where Storm would be run the Morlocks, and I would read the letter pages, and the only letter page that was like super, there's some like, you know, every now and then you read some communist suit thing, but the letters page against Storm's mohawk and her looking hardcore punk, because they mention it in the letters page, this isn't me reading into anything, were like, they hated it. They in the 80s they hated it. So I did like reading reactions, be like, oh, was Storm woke now and stuff. I was like, okay, so this just never ends for like conservative people, and Storm not having the long hair and all that stuff. This is like a thing for you guys that you just like like people are like, oh, it's woke. I'm like, you had a problem with this in the 80s. Like this has always been an issue, but it's also like, I don't know. I find the whole like let's get mad at X-Men for being woke thing a really bizarre, you know. I mean, I haven't looked at like Midnight's Edge or Geeks and Gamers or what those guys are saying, but I'm sure it's like something, a very long explanation, like, yes, it was in the comics, but this is different, I'm sure. It's, I don't know, but anyway, there is a past history to it. I actually do know it. Maybe if I could find that letters page or something, but I think she looks really cool. I think she looks awesome. You know, I do think though, if you're a New York hardcore punk, I remember this time you'd have more patches than she did. So that maybe that's my only real criticism. Not enough patches, Storm. Where's the anti-flag or the subhumans back patch or whatever? Actually, that would be cool. Let's go more hardcore punk. She should not bathe for a week and like have like the exploited shirts all the time and like. Anyway, I think that would be cool. I was thinking like the only movie thing that would make me be like one of those anti-woke people is like, this movie's 2.5 hours, dude, you've ruined it again, or like something. That would be my. The movie should be shorter. Anyway, all right, where are we in this? Okay. I'm going to talk about Mr. Tom Cruise news, which is actually big news, not just like normal bullshit like white guy in his 40s likes Tom Cruise thing, which happens a lot on the film Twitters. But so Tom Cruise signed this deal with Warner Brothers, and everybody, give me 1 second. I want to blow my nose. Hold on, gonna mute this one. All right, I'm back. So Tom Cruise signed a deal with Warner Brothers, and one of the deals with this deal, I guess, was that he was going to return to dramas, which used to be a thing for him quite regularly. I think his last kind of one that didn't do well was like Lions for Lambs, which I never saw, when he was with like it was like Robert Redford and Meryl Streep, and it didn't go anywhere, and so he just kind of stopped after that. Even though, like, as I'll point out to people, only person ever to be in a Paul Thomas Anderson movie and a Stanley Kubrick movie in the same year. Only person, to my understanding. Was there anyone else who's in Eyes Wide Shut and Magnolia? I don't think so. So, you know, he used to be very into doing dramas, and he just makes Mission Impossible movies and films with Chris McQuarrie. And then he signed this Warner's deal, and it looked like, oh, he's going to do other stuff. And then I was all excited. I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. Is he going to be in the Paul Thomas Anderson movie with DiCaprio or something? Something like that. Like, is that going to happen? And that isn't what happened at all. He pursued the Inarritu movie, the Alejandro Inarritu movie, that a lot of big male stars were circling. We're not sure which ones, but, you know, people guess DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, like big legacy stars. And Tom Cruise, apparently, after he signed the deal, majorly got his agency involved and did the Tom Cruise thing and majorly worked out a deal for Inarritu. And is going to be in the new Inarritu movie, which I think there's probably more of his I don't like than I do like. I didn't really like The Revenant. I like The Beautiful I forget, with Javier Bardem. That's probably the one like most people really hate, and I actually like. I watched it again and I still liked it, so I don't know. But it, like Birdman's fine. Like 21 Grams is horrible, but like he's really not the kind of person I wanted Tom Cruise to come back with. I sort of wanted him to like discover a new director, but that's sort of never what Tom Cruise did when he was doing dramas. He'd always work with like legacy directors. Like he'd be a part of big auteurs' filmographies. Like even when he started Mission Impossible, it was with Brian De Palma. It was with or Scorsese, or when he worked with Spielberg and stuff. So I think like to him, I understand why he thought of it that way. But I really wish he had I don't know. I think he could have been a little more creative with it. Maybe he just went for the biggest project he could. Maybe he doesn't have an Oscar and he was like, well, with Inarritu I could at least get a nomination again and start rebranding himself as a drama guy. Maybe he's looking at like, I'll do some action, but I can't do the Mission Impossible thing forever. It's just like kind of like everyone wanted him to get into dramas for the past couple of years, and then he does, and you're like, oh, that's boring. So I don't know. I noticed a lot of like, I didn't see what not Amy. Anyway, there's a critic who wrote a book on Tom Cruise, and now I'm thinking about Amy Nicholson. I didn't see what Amy Nicholson said, but I saw like Patrick Willems and other people I've seen write people on. Man, I should find out what Amy Nicholson thought. Now I'm curious, but everyone else was just like rolling their eyes at the news. Which I agree with. It's boring news, man. It's like you wait for something cool to happen, and you're like, oh, I signed with the most boring of those 3 Mexican directors who everybody likes, and you're like, oh man, come on, like just real. I don't know. I guess maybe he just wanted to get into it, but disappointing. All right, so the box office this past weekend, even though it's Thursday, we're still doing it. Bob Marley is at number 1, which is, I think, I'm telling you right now, that movie's going to be a monster. I think worldwide, I mean, Bob Marley, like I said, worldwide superstar, probably one of the biggest music artists probably ever. Internationally, especially, I think it still had the biggest single movie day in Jamaica of all time. And domestic, it's 74. International, it's 49. It's 123 million. But I could see it. I don't know. I don't really have any interest in seeing this movie. Everyone I know who has seen it likes it, and it is about my favorite Bob Marley album, which is Exodus, which I listened to recently, and Exodus is still really great. But I still like. Every time I hear that actor do that Bob Marley voice, I'm like, that is, I can't watch that whole movie. I'm sorry. But number 2, and I haven't heard as much talk about it except for box office people, is Demon Slayer, to the Harisham training. I watched a lot of season 1 of Demon Slayer, and then I didn't finish it, and I know people really like it. But anyway, number 2, really helping out again. I think anime continues to really help out box office, but I saw a lot of posters for this in the movies, but hey, made 11 million this past weekend. Ordinary Angels, which I think is that religious movie is that with Hilary Swank? Yes, it is. And Alan Richardson, that really beefy guy. Migration, still at number 5 with 120 million. Argyle continues to bomb. Wait, what was? Oh, Madam Web went down 61%. Beekeeper continues to hang on to the top 10. Lisa Frankenstein, which is now on demand, so hopefully I can see it soon. Wait, there is a Les Miserables re-release of the what? Of the musical? I didn't even know about that. Well, it was at 21. This is like looking at the box. I'm like, wait, what? What happened? And stop motion, the perpetual meme, which I did see, made $340,000. $340,000. They shoot the piano player, the animated film that didn't get a nomination, and I would like to review, but I don't know if I'll get to, or I'd like to see at some point. Was only in 2 theaters, made $6,000. And what's at the bottom here? What the bottom is, The Crime Is Mine. I looked up, what was it? The one last week. Where was it? It's not even on here. Is that only 1 week? Oh, it was like a body swap movie, but it was kind of like weird and interesting. Anyway, I did watch the trailer for that. I forgot about that. But the bottom of the box office, number 67, is The Crime Is Mine. I was like looking at like what's the lowest performer? Is like Paris in 1935. A young actress has been acquitted of murdering a famous French producer. However, this is where the story just begins. Is she really innocent, or has she gotten away with murder? What? Really? That's the whole premise? I can see why you're so low. Released by Music Box Films. I think it's probably just playing in one thing. All right, anyway, sorry. That's the box office. So we're finally going to talk about... We had 2 John Waters newses. You guys heard the cops finally showed up. Note the amount of time it took. I believe isn't there a Public Enemy song about that? I believe, which I think that would be longer than the Public. I think they said 9 minutes in that song. Anyway, so obviously getting worse. So John Waters' Liarmouth, we had 2 pieces of information. One might not sound like a big deal, but I think I had heard some rumblings. People were a little concerned. It is definitely shooting in Baltimore. The reason for the concern, all of his films that he has directed have been shot in Baltimore. But Hairspray the musical they might have done a few shots in Baltimore, but was shot in Toronto because of safety. If they shot in Baltimore, I was hoping to PA on that, but I never got to. You can definitely tell I wasn't involved in it. Not that, anyway, I'm being stupid. But so that there was I had actually heard on like Baltimore Facebook groups, there was a little concern, but I was like, I don't think he would do that. But he confirmed it is, not probably because of those Facebook groups, but just to like keep buzz going. And we learned that Aubrey Plaza is going to be the star of Liarmouth. I think I will try to read the book before, and maybe do a review of that as it's going on. But I know Aubrey Plaza is like, everybody loves her and she's sort of overhyped to a certain degree, but I actually think the level of irony that you have to have in a Waters performance, I think could work really well with her. I'm not really against it, whatever. I think it's a good choice. I'm curious who else, because it's usually like not just in a modern John Waters movie, not just who they who's the lead, but who are the supporting actors as well. So I'm curious about that. But right now, I'm very happy about what's going on with Liarmouth. With Aubrey Plaza, I think that'll make people excited, as well as it's shooting in Baltimore stuff. Jordan, apparently you get a thing. I didn't know YouTube did this. This is your 20th super chat, I guess. Thank you for that, Jordan. And cheers to you. Thank you for the super chat. I guess you're at the Tommy Tubi thing. That's cool. Cheers. Yeah, this is interesting. I might do this when I go. I've noticed the rock one's getting harder to find. So maybe. I don't know if she's overhyped, but it just doesn't feel like. Anyway, I think it's a good choice either way. So I'm probably gonna have a. This is just a quick thing, but I'll probably have like a short about this. But George Lowe is Space Ghost in Jellystone. I gotta say, I know people don't talk about it. I'll probably just have a thing on George Lowe in it. He did a great job. The Space Ghost episode of Jellystone, I highly recommend. But Jellystone in general, if you're an animation fan, or specifically a Hanna-Barbera one, I watched the film noir one. I watched a few of them. Everyone is really great. I do find it like honestly too strange for kids. It's more for grown-ups who like animation, which I kind of think is maybe why I didn't catch on as much as like the Looney Tunes did. But it's still like really, really good. Like I really still like Jellystone. I was like, this is just such a cool show. It is totally excellent. But I did like that. Like a lot of people said that might be George Lowe's last performance as Space Ghost. If it, I would recommend watching it because he's not in the greatest health. That's been known for a while, so a lot of people are concerned. But Jellystone is such a cool show. I really like what they're doing with the Hanna-Barbera thing. So I hope it gets to continue, but a lot of people are not. I like that car rap. That's funny. All right. I'm liking the popcorn bucket thing that's been going on because the first was the Dune popcorn bucket. I saw someone make it was it? I forget who it was, but I've seen a few people that make it like a remote holder, and I don't know, a lot of people making jokes about it and stuff. I like that that's going on, but the Slimer popcorn bucket where he's like throwing up popcorn, that's excellent. I like where the popcorn bucket thing's going. I would never order a popcorn bucket. It seems too expensive. But I do I like it when people make movies fun, so I like that element of it. But other news in this, Denis Villeneuve doesn't really give a fuck anymore. He's giving kind of a Ridley Scott press tour, much like when he was like, who the fuck cares about history? That's shit's dumb. I'm gonna make Napoleon how I want and all that stuff. It seems like Denis Villeneuve is doing the same thing, where he's like, this is the quote. He's like, I'm not interested in dialogue at all. Pure image and sound. That is the power of cinema. Frankly, I hate dialogue. Dialogue is for theater and TV. I don't remember movies because of a good line. I'm like, okay. I was like, are you like setting us up to like not like the dialogue? I mean, I don't mind. I like when movies are very visual, but I don't know. I disagree with like when I was younger. I used to believe in like it's better to be more visual than dialogue heavy. To me, it's like they're just different flavors of the same thing. It really doesn't matter. I sort of dislike when people do this. The whole idea of visuals over dialogue was actually, I don't know if people know this. It was revealed recently, but the reason that is taught in film schools is actually because the U.S. government was worried too many student filmmakers were making like protest films and having speeches, much like Chaplin did and other people did, but they were worried about it catching on, so they actually did sort of a campaign. It was revealed actually, to actually say to teach film students that it was better to be visual than have dialogue, so it would not film would not be sorry, I'm not expressing this very well. I'm sorry. Would not be sort of another form of protest. That was actually the idea behind it. Now, I don't think so people don't understand why they've been taught that and the reasons why they were taught that, but that is actually where that comes from. So I don't agree. You can have a preference, and which I guess Denis Villeneuve did, but it just sort of like, I don't know. I think it's a little silly to do that kind of thing. It's just like, you can say that, but I'm just like, dude, it's not for theater and TV. There's lots of visual, like, haven't you seen Primal? Primal's a TV show, man. All right. Sinram, with a very generous superset, says, my favorite Denis Villeneuve film is Sicario. Josh Brolin talked about making it in a recent retrospective video. Oh, I didn't know that. First off, thank you very much for your generosity tonight, Sinram, and thank you for that. Cheers to you. I agree with you on, despite what Austin may say, our government would never do that. Thank you. I think I might like Sicario more, although I do like Arrival a lot. I don't know if I like his bigger sci-fi movies as much as those two, but I am going to watch Dune 1 in preparation for. I don't know when I'm seeing Dune 2. My dad saw it and he liked it because he told me he saw it this afternoon. I think he saw it like the first show, so which sounds like my dad. All right. Moving on, this is a quick thing, but Ryan Gosling, despite what we had heard previously, is actually going to be performing I'm Just Ken at the Oscars. So that's going to be cool. I think that'll make the Oscars more fun. I think that'll be one of the most anticipated things. I still think it should have been Jack Black doing Peaches and then Ryan Gosling doing I'm Just Ken. Like, that would have been fun, but he could still do Peaches. I don't see what the problem is. Anyway, so we keep hearing about the two things about Godzilla Minus One. One is Janice. I guess Chan talks more movies saw Dune too. So Janice Films, who's kind of the legendary older foreign film distributor, will be releasing Godzilla Minus One. I think digitally and on Blu-ray and stuff. I wouldn't mind watching it with my kids, but it needs to be dubbed. I don't know if anyone's going to be a dub. I need to look that up. But the director of Godzilla Minus One also said, Takashi Yamakaze, I think, that he wants to make a film that is some kind of answer or response to Oppenheimer. Now, he has been, I will say, he is talking more about Oppenheimer than Nolan's talking about Godzilla, which is interesting. But, you know, Christopher Nolan doesn't see Japanese people, as we all know, so he's not going to see Godzilla Minus One. But it sounded, the director of Godzilla Minus One, I believe he said he, like, traveled to see Oppenheimer. Like, he had to, like, go to another island, and he had to travel significantly distance in Japan to see it. I believe he said that. But this is kind of a weird thing, because it's like, well, isn't even the original Godzilla film is reaction to the bomb, as well as, you know, pretty much every first Godzilla movie of every era, other than Shin Godzilla, which is not about the bomb. So many of them are, not all of them. And, you know, I tend to like the ones that are. I know Godzilla is much more than that and has been in various different movies. But it is interesting that he wants to do that. But I'm also like, yeah, you probably should. Although I do think just Godzilla existing as Minus One does say something about it, because it is in juxtaposition, because whereas Oppenheimer is like, look like the government would do with our ideas, and we're working with the government, and like all these things about, you know, working with the bigger thing and stuff. And Godzilla Minus One is like, the government's not going to help us. We got to kill this thing. It was just like a total different energy. Is that's a big part of that movie. Is like, we got to kind of band together because the government's like a fucking wreck. So I do like that the difference between America and the current Godzilla movies is like both Shin Godzilla and Godzilla Minus One is like, man, the government's a fucking mess. We better actually take care of this because they don't have their shit together. Whereas like America is still like, oh, we helped the government, but now we feel super bad about it. But we still did it, and like, I don't know. I actually like that Godzilla. I think Godzilla Minus One's a better movie than Oppenheimer, right? I think so. He's also said that he wants to make another movie, the next one, with a different kaiju. So I think he's just, you know, he's on the press tour. He's he's developing it. So we'll see. I think when guys give these quotes, I mean, he doesn't know. I think he's going to do a movie between Godzilla Minus One, but he makes a lot of movies. You look at his filmography, I believe he had a lot of movies there. I'm not sure on that, though. We also learned, and this sort of happened because of Jeff Snyder's argument with Lionsgate, actually, that there's going to be, they're considering making an American Psycho remake at Lionsgate, supposedly maybe making it I like St. Powers. Our government would never do that. An American Psycho remake. Apparently, they could modernize it, and there's been talk of like maybe not having a white guy and stuff. Supposedly, again, like I say a lot of times, this sounds very much early in development. It was basically leaked before it should have. Some people have suggested it should just go to TV and do an American Psycho, American American Psycho, sorry, TV show or something like that. I've never. I'm gonna be honest. Like I think the movie's okay. I think it's sort of. I do like the ending a lot. I thought the ending's maybe the best part about it. But I do think he. I don't know. I'm just like I guess like you could make a new one, but I think it only works in the 80s in a bit. But I'm also like if you have a good enough thing with it, but I don't know. I know like a lot of these studios are looking at like any IP they have to get people interested and get some buzz going. But I mean, you can do like that Fatal Attraction show, which was pretty horrible, or which kind of missed the point. I didn't watch a ton of it. I didn't like it very much, but you really have to have like a better idea. And I don't know. We'll see. But I'm just sort of like, okay, I guess. I don't know. It's like I was a little more interested in like because it was originally DiCaprio all those years ago, and he was like circling it forever, and then he like bounced at a certain point. I'm not sure why, and because that was like the hype, like post Titanic, is he's gonna be an American Psycho, and instead he did The Beach, which is pretty bad, honestly. I don't know if anyone remembers The Beach. Everyone thinks it's Titanic and then Scorsese, but he did The Beach and a Woody Allen movie, neither of which went anywhere. But anyway, so the Bob. Believe it or not, there's a bidding war over the Bob the Builder movie. This is like the hot bidding war for a new Mattel movie on Bob the Builder. Supposedly there's heavy interest from Netflix, Amazon, and DreamWorks Animation, and supposedly it is an animated feature which speaks greatly to the Latino and Hispanic community because I believe it's Anthony Ramos came up with the idea to have Bob the Builder set in Puerto Rico. And he says, this is in the Deadline article, one of which is about the resilience of the Latino culture. Bob's motto in Spanish is translated to yes, we can. I don't know. And Jennifer Lopez is involved as a producer. Obviously, she worked with Amazon on her This Is Me Now, which is, oh my God, incredible. How ridiculous it is, although I don't like her music really. That kind of hurt it, but it's just truly a bizarre thing to witness. Maybe not, I don't know, if the music had been better though, but I'm very confused why this, I don't know, it's like Bob the Builder, I'm not like upset that Bob the Builders represents something in the Latino culture or something, but just like weird that like it's such a big bidding war over Bob the Builder. Like we all really like Bob the Builder now, I guess. I don't know. Very weird. All right, I'm gonna hurry this up a bit so I can take a break, and then we'll do the questions. I think we might be okay, but I think we'll wrap up at 11:30. Yes. All right. So we learned that Matthew Vaughn, oh my God, this guy is like so out of ideas. It's like, I don't know. Seeing him post the Kingsman has been like depressing, to be honest with you. He said he's working on a kick-ass spinoff called The Stuntman. I honestly think this guy should like take a break and like re-collaborate because this is not like Argyle bombed and he clearly, I don't know. He's just thinking of like ways to make money, and it's kind of depressing because like part of Kingsman was like a comment on wealth, and clearly he got money and was like, no, but money's cool though, am I right? And you're like, wait, what? I thought that was what Kingsman was about, was wealth disparity, and like the rich and how evil they are, and now it's like if the twist of Kingsman was Eggsy was like, no, but rich people are kind of nice, you know? It's like I know they almost killed the world, but hear me out. And it's just like, why are you doing a kick-ass spinoff? Oh my God! Just like ever since that Kingsman movie, he has just been disappointing. I wish he just would go away. It's like him and James Gunn making statements on the DC, whatever it is. It's just like, I wish you guys would just like just don't talk for a little bit. Like just give us some room. Like we don't need statements from you every day. I don't know. This one just came off as, I noticed everyone was like, why are you like, does anyone remember Kick-Ass 2? Like, that was... I think the best thing came out was, like, didn't he help produce Rocket Man? Rocket Man was cool. But everything else he directed is, like... I don't know. I stopped after the second Kingsman. Every time I see a trailer, I'm like, yeesh. Although, I will give him credit. That post-credit scene in that Kingsman movie where Hitler shows up, oh my god, amazing. That he made Hitler Thanos. Anytime that goes trending on Twitter, I'm like, oh my, I cannot believe you made Hitler Thanos. Alright. He didn't do Kick-Ass 2. I'm sorry. But Kick-Ass 2 didn't work out, though. It wasn't good. Alright, we learned that Superman Legacy will actually be called Superman instead of Superman Legacy. I think this is kind of mostly silly. However, I will say, and this is the only thing about it that's interesting, is there is actually, in all honesty, there is not a film just called Superman. The original Superman is called Superman the movie. There's Superman Returns, obviously Superman 2, 3, 4, whatever, but Superman Returns and Man of Steel. So this... Oh, yeah. When Jim Carrey refused to promote Kick-Ass 2, I remember that. Sorry. So this would actually be the first movie actually just called Superman. So that's kind of interesting, actually. I was like, I don't know. I was a little like, why was it called Superman Legacy? And maybe someone went, there's actually no movie called just Superman. And they're like, oh, we should do that then, because we can. So, I mean, I don't know. Whatever. It's like the first Spider-Man was just called Spider-Man. Makes sense to me. The first Batman movie was called, how about the Superman? That'll be the next reboot. It'll be called The Superman instead of Superman. But if you look at the title card on the film, it simply reads Superman. That is true, Sinrim. And I notice most people title it as Superman. Guaranteed, it is now just Superman the movie for all eternity because of this. But that is I will give you that, Sinrim, that is true. I think even Superman Returns just has Superman and then says Returns. Anyway, I might be wrong. It's been a while since I've seen that. But that is true. I often just think of that movie in my head as Superman, but I believe it's the full title Superman movie. But I've never seen it on TV listings as Superman, so that's not that's a fair assumption. Cheers to you, Sinram. Thank you for your generosity. Let me move on. Apparently the Rey Star Wars film is going to be called New Jedi Order instead of Episode 10. I don't think that would be an episode, because an episode would not mean she would be the main character. Like, that's not how the Star Wars things work. So I don't understand, I understand she's building new people, but, Han Solo's not the main character. It's kind of how... Anyway, story structure is important sometimes. You don't just hype things. The Daniels next movie will be out on June 12th of 2025, I believe. That's exciting. We got more confirmation that... Well, I guess we didn't know. We knew Kevin Conroy was going to be in Crisis on Infinite Earth Part 3, but apparently Mark Hamill will also be in that. So maybe I should watch the Crisis on Infinite Earths, because I would like to see Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill together again one last time. All right, before we do the trailers and obits... Oh, I need to hurry up. Dan Lin was named the head of Netflix, head of film at Netflix after Scott Stuber left. He was producing the Lego movies. He was very close to running DC, and then that didn't happen. But he also helped develop the live-action Avatar, so that's great. The guy who developed the show we all don't like is now running film at Netflix. It's going to be wonderful. That was less of a big news, but Sean Bailey, I think most people thought was going to take the Netflix job. He did not. He's leaving being the head of Disney. They elevated the co-head of Searchlight Pictures, which is a pretty good studio, David Greenbaum, which I think is actually a pretty good move, honestly, on their part. But Sean Bailey, a lot of people think, he'll work at Matt and because he worked for Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, that he'll work for their production company. I don't honestly believe that. I think he might just want to bow out, but a lot of people have suggested because he had greater ambitions before he did Disney and all the live action remakes and all that stuff. Maybe he'll go back to that. That's largely been insinuated by reporters who want better things to write about him with, but I sort of don't believe it. I think he's just kind of doing entrepreneur stuff and wants to move on. But anyway, there's not much to talk about that other than everyone thought Sean Bailey would do Netflix. He didn't. Dan Lin did, so cool. So a few trailers. First, we got really out of nowhere an announcement of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead reboot. I have a fondness for that original movie. The reboot didn't really tell us much of anything. Nicole Richie's the mom in it, which is weird. And obviously, I think the kids, it's a little more multiracial and stuff, but it looks like more of a blended family, possibly. I'm not exactly, we really know nothing. So it might be a kid with a bunch of their friends. I have no clue. But it could be fun, but I'm curious, like, how you would get that to work in a modern sense, but maybe, I might just do a review of the original one. And said, Pop Culture Guy 3000 said, I heard somewhere a Netflix executive was addicted to coke. Is that just a rumor? I mean, I'm sure that's probably true to a certain extent. But most likely, yes. Cheers to you, though, Pop Culture Guy. We got trailers for Horizon, the Kevin Costner thing. I'd be more excited, but I've never loved Kevin Costner as a director as much as everyone else, so it looks cool. He's doing westerns. Basically, supposedly his wife left him because he was like, I'm going to make this 4-part western movie that probably no one's going to see, and she's like, that sounds like a bad idea, and he's like, let me invest all our money. So good for you. I don't know. And he left Yellowstone. It sounds like a disaster of all disasters, but maybe it'll be cool. I don't know. We got a trailer for The Bike Riders, which is actually coming out in June. That looked fine. One Punch Man Season 3 looked okay. I kind of left that show a long time ago. And there are 2 trailers I thought were really cool. One was Boy Kills World, which I actually, everyone been asking me to watch, and I kept not watching it. And it looked cool about this guy who basically like lost his voice. And it's like super high concept, but basically he has no voice, but his inner voice is H. John Benjamin. And his family was killed in this Hunger Games style thing with breakfast cereal. I'm not lying. It looks kind of fun, culty stuff. I'm excited for that, actually. And I don't know if you guys have heard of this movie called Stop Motion, but it's actually really cool. It's about this stop motion animator, and she gets haunted by her stop motion figures. You should check it out. I hear it's in theaters right now. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna do it until that movie is in the Criterion Collection. Maybe I don't think it deserves that movie. So we had 2 before we take a break. Richard Lewis, who my only I don't know, he was always a guy I thought was funny. I'm not 100% sure embezzling due to drug habits, actually. Okay, well, I think that anyway, I'm sorry I hadn't heard that. But it sounds I don't know. That's interesting, but I'm not surprised that a film executive did that. So, but cheers to you again for the Super Chat, Pop Culture Guy. I talked about Naruto, Panavision. That was earlier, but I did hear that. But yeah, Richard Lewis died this past week. I only got to see him once when I got to be a audience member at The Daily Show, and I will say, like, it's okay, Pop Culture. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for your generosity as well. Don't feel embarrassed. I saw Richard Lewis at The Daily Show, and there's always been these clips of him, like, making everyone in the audience, like, break up laughing, like, hysterically. Actually, they showed him on the Bob Costas show on NBC, and they didn't like how much he made Bob Costas laugh and stuff. But, like, I was there on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and everyone in the theater, or whatever, the set, was just, like, in hysterics until he left the stage. Like, he was just, like, so funny. And it's like he just had this presence that made you want to laugh. And it was just really cool. So I knew him from, like, everything from, like, Seventh Heaven to Curb Your Enthusiasm to, like, I think he was on a bunch of commercials and stuff. But, like, Anyway, if you ever see him on a talk show, I will specifically say, like, he just had this energy that, like, once he, like, sort of, like, started running off jokes and gone on a bit, you would just, like, be so with him in a way. It's such an amazing comedic presence. Um, as well as Bobby Duress, who's in Good Life with, and a bunch of the Safdie brothers movies died this past week. I believe he was in his late 30s, and RIP to him as well. All right, so I am going to use the bathroom. Then we will do, when I get back, we will do Patreon. Nobody leave a question yet. Then we'll just do questions, and then that'll be it. So I'll do Patreon questions first. When I get back, I'll write questions in the thing, and we'll go from there. I have 3 Patreon questions, I believe. All right, I will be... Oh, we should put up the thing again. Wait, where are you? The amazing image Ace the Windrider made. Hold on. Okay, let me do... I'm going to put this up, and then I will be right back. I'm just going to use the bathroom, and then we will finish up the show. Hello, everybody. Pop culture guy, it's okay. Thank you for being here. And also thank you to, where are we on this? Ace the Windwriter for this. It really came in handy tonight, and he deserves some respect. So that whatever his link is, I will. I'm actually gonna. Anyway, Ace, I will message you. But thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. I don't think I would be creative enough to come up with a cool GIF like that. So I appreciate you making it for the show. All right. What are we doing here? Okay. I'm going to write. Let's just get into the questions. I'm going to write. Sorry. Questions below. I'm going to read the Patreon questions right now. There we go. Okay. No. Sorry. I'm going to drink some of this. I might get another one of these. We'll see. Whoa. The funny thing is I tried to look up The Rock. The Rock had a Christmas version of his energy drink, but I had to buy like 24 cans, so I didn't do it. But if I could have found it. Anyway, Nathaniel Focus says, what's something you hope for the Oscars this year? I sort of hope they're fun and that... Yeah, I just hope they're fun and entertaining and it's not too hard of a show to watch. That's kind of what I hope. Then we have... Jordan Bouchard says, what inspired you to start your YouTube channel and to start reviewing media? Oh, wow, that's a big one there. I think mostly because I really like talking about movies and getting into the history of them. And it was sort of towards the end of Knockforce, and I was looking at, I was interested in, seeing what people are doing with reviews, but I often felt that they were more coming at it from a funny skit way, and I wanted to talk about it more in, a cinephile way and stuff like that. So it was more just, I felt my voice wasn't reflected as much. And I don't know. I do like expressing my opinion. I don't think most people who know me want to hear me talk for 20 minutes on a movie. So I was sometimes it's good also to just get it out. But I also thought, even when I was making films, I would, regardless of if someone asked or not, in my head I would have my top 10 films of the year or thoughts I had on certain movies or things like that. So I think it was I think my wife at the time was I think you almost were watching movies than anything. So I think that was kind of a lot of it is I think more people thought of me talking about movies or recommending movies or being able to talk about genre and stuff like that. And I think that honestly is a big part of it is because when I started, most people were yeah, that makes sense. Austin said, I hope that answered that well. I feel like that was a big one. I hope it did that well. Anyway, Austin, hey Jim, I hope you are well. What a great show this has been. Hopefully I'm still around talking about how you talked about the new movie Stop Motion. Or, wow, good call. Or are you questioning what happened to the AI James Dean Vietnam movie? I think it got canceled. I like that people bring that one back because that was such a weird one. My question for you is, have you seen the Brack Space Ghost crossover? Yes, I have on Space Ghost. Wait, the Brack Space Ghost crossover on Space Ghost. And do you have a favorite Cartoon Planet Space Ghost and Brack Show episode? Cartoon Planet, it was such a weird one because, and I'll say this about it, is they didn't, it was kind of they would just play random segments. I don't remember it too. I remember they did a Smells Like Teen Spirit parody when I was really into Nirvana. So that one meant more to me. And I remember they did stuff when, we watched it once, right at New Year's Eve. So those would be my Cartoon Planet. Space Ghost is probably the Michael Stipe one. Or the one where they just jam for a whole episode, which I know 12 Ounce Mouse sort of did also, but I think that's sort of a cool concept. But there's certain ones like the Thumb Bjork episode is really good. The Joel Hodgson episode is really good. Obviously, I like that one. Most of season 1. The Letterman episode is really good. I just like all the Space Ghosts. Brack Show, I do like that show. I could not for the life of me think of a best episode of that. I'm sorry about that. Is there... Okay. All right. So let's see how many of these questions we can get through. I think let's try our best here. Cornbread says, question, this past 2 weeks we're heated with the Animation Guild arguing the political statements are bad because it could splinter the guild versus unions being fundamentally political. Thoughts? I don't think political statements are bad. I think people are getting weird about them because of what happened to like Melissa Pereira with the Palestine thing, and obviously with several other people throughout. I don't think political opinions are bad, but I think it's sad if an organization is asking you to do that. I think that's kind of pathetic of them, honestly. Zane Powers, thoughts on the Willy Wonka experience controversy? I just don't... Okay, what I don't get about that is, like, who goes to an experience like that from... Was it, like, a Facebook ad? Like, I feel bad for those people. But I'm also like, why would you... Anyway, it seems to me, anything I saw of it, I would sniff at a scam. But I think the people who did that were just, like, thought they could just make a quick buck and didn't spend any time on it. And, like, it felt like something I threw together in a weekend. And I feel bad for the people who did it, but I think I've seen other people try to do similar scams with AI art already, supposedly, so I don't think this is going to be the end of it. But what I do think is going to be interesting with this AI stuff is I think the people who want to use it right now are like the laziest fucking idiots in the world. And the problem is even though AI will do your work for you, much like any tool, you have to know how to use it. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to end up with the Willy Wonka experience. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you're going to end up with. So I just find it to be bizarre. Austin says, thoughts on the Scotland... Okay, I guess I did that also. Are Jim's Falls called Gimgalos? If you can pronounce whatever that is, fine, if everyone likes that. Zane Powers, when will Michael Richards make his big comeback? I don't think he will. I saw a thing on, like, the biggest comedy meltdown ever kind of thing on that, and I was like, yeah, it was kind of like a disaster. James Manning, I don't think he will. James Manning said, do you like or listen to the Gorillaz? Sorry if you've talked about this before, but favorite song, album, maybe you hate them. No, I do like the Gorillaz. Big influence on Knockforce and all this. I think favorite album, maybe Demon Days. Favorite song, maybe... I don't know. When I was doing the reviews of the videos, which I'd like to restart soon, I was bouncing around on that one. That one I'm not sure. Sometimes I like the one Silo, I think. Maybe. Stylo. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Nathaniel Foga, how was February for you? It was okay, I guess. Cineram question. Since Apple put funding or whatever into Argyle, does that mean that it won't be anywhere except Apple Plus once it leaves theaters? Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what it means. That's the streaming thing was just a the theater thing was just a distribution deal, but that's the ultimate goal with it, unfortunately. I think it helps the streaming even if it bombs, but he's not going to make a spin-off of that one. Although I guess he'll try because he has no ideas now. Ace the Wind Rider, has Sophie's media taste grown, developed in recent time? If so, how much? I mean, it grows. Yeah, kids' stuff grows and changes and ebbs and flows based on what they're into, basically. We'll see. We did watch, and I forgot to mention this, and I might make a thing about it, is, I think it's Iwiju, I think IWAJU, it's like made with an African animation studio in Disney. That's really cool, and the kids got into that one tonight. They were really into that. So I think it was a pretty good show from what I had to clean up and stuff, but the Afrofuturism is really interesting, and it's taking place in Nigeria. I think that's an interesting one. I hope more people watch it because it is pretty unprecedented for an African animation studio to have a thing widely distributed in America is like nothing I've ever heard of. Black Sacrifice Soul, or at least one they creatively made and stuff like that. Black Sacrifice Soul, what are your thoughts on standing desks? I think standing desks are bullshit. That's what I think. Zane Powers, with all the tax write-offs for movies, do you think there will be a breaking point with directors or actors? Okay. Stop doing that. With directors or actors. Sorry. Let's start over. Zane Powers, with all these tax write-offs for movies, do you think there will be a breaking point with directors or actors for them to actually stand up to it and make a stand? I would have thought there would be more of one, and maybe there is behind the scenes. I'm curious. I think Coyote versus Acme might be the most high-profile one that a company could do, and I think most of them are probably going to be weary of doing it again, just such a high-profile one, but we'll see. I mean, I thought Salem's Lot would be high-profile enough, but it seems like nobody cares. James Manning, also thoughts on the 2003 Teen Titans. I rewatched it recently and was blown away by how good it was in terms of story arcs, characters, and animation. I loved that show when it was on. I watched it, I think, every week. It's a great show, I think, and it holds up really well when I rewatched it a little bit ago, but I think it's great. Cornbread, do you think they might shoot for a lesser-known name for the casting of Doctor Doom? Because if they do, whoever they sign might not have a contractual stipulation of on-screen FaceTime. I do think... I have thought they might do like a Mandalorian type thing where it's like they just show up, before Doom and occasionally or something like that. I think I've heard everything from like Ryan Gosling to Daniel Craig to, various people Marvel's reached out to before and stuff. Supposedly they're not going to reveal it till they're shooting because he's only in the post-credit scenes or something. But we'll see. I kind of think there's a lot of people who might just do it because they can have the... just have the box office clout from a Marvel thing, and it would help them. But yeah. What is that? I am out of the loop about your family since Pan completely changed the pizza party. What is your... Oh, Oscar. Jordan Sloffalo, what is an acting performance you have seen where you feel like the actor isn't acting? Example, Edward Norton, Birdman. I think they were still acting. I think that's a misunderstanding. But I haven't... Sorry. Hold on. My nose is... Okay. Apologies for that. Probably end soon because of that. I don't know if there is one I can think of. I mean, there's certain ones you're like, they're just so into their persona. Like, it does feel like Tom Cruise is just Tom Cruise all the time, or it feels like, like Jason Statham is. But I do think they're acting. I think they're so good at doing that. Dom Murray says, have you seen Maestro? No, I always pick a Best Picture nominee to not watch for mental health reasons, and that was the one I picked. So I think I'm going to see Poor Things soon. I think I will probably see all but Maestro before the Oscars, but I just wasn't. I heard it wasn't good. It didn't look. I don't know. Maybe I should have, but didn't have the time. Same Powers. Who would be the most eye-rolling choice to make a biopic of? I think most music people, because the lore is so established. So, but yeah, got any nice corkscrews? I feel like that's a Knockforce joke. I don't know. It's just hard to. I do think. Any of the major musicians. I mean, I recently was thinking, if you did Eric B. and Rakim, that would be an interesting one because that literally changed. If you pick somebody who actually changed the course of music, like certain jazz musicians or something like that, and it's like well established and you could communicate. But I think Eric B. and Rakim, like everybody goes for the Tupacs and the Biggies, but like that would be actually interesting because that is like the turning point in hip hop that changed an era, and like you could probably get somebody interesting for Rakim and everything that happened. Anyway, I do think like no one's very creative with their choices. They always pick like the biggest people. But like Roxanne Shante, like that was a kind of a cool biopic. But I wish there was more stuff like that. Cartwright, thoughts on the Monkees? I love the Monkees. I watched that whole show while we were developing Knockforce. Actually, it's a great show. Actually, they're kind of weirder than they get credit for. Not just Head, but other stuff. Black Cycle, did you know Rob Schneider did a stand-up special for Fox News? Yes, I did. Not interested. Not plausible. In the Jurassic League, will we see Batman get that T-Rex in the Batcave? Will Superman have to fight the giant meteor that wipes out the dinosaurs? Maybe. That'd be funny. Did you know Do you know you keep your days from feeling the same? What? I don't know what that was. Zane Powers. I'm a little lost. Is that a reference to something? Um. Hold on. I think I might just do a few more. Okay, so what is the thing with Digital Circus? Like, I've seen people. So Zane Powers asks, I have a new trailer for the stop motion. Ignore the fact that it's called Digital Circus, and goes, I know he reviewed it, like Saber reviewed it, but I don't know like what's going on with Digital Circus. I've sort of ignored that, unfortunately. So let's just do a few. Maybe I should. I really don't know anything about it, to be honest with you. Life is like a hurricane here and okay. Maybe I'm. What's your favorite Superman? Not plausible. Fleischer Superman, of course. Favorite Hanna-Barbera character? Probably Space Ghost, but I like Top Cat. I like Yogi. Do you think the segment? Oh man, I want to. Fucking YouTube. For some reason, I can't figure out why my scroll on YouTube won't work properly, and I don't understand the deal with that. Wait, where was? I think I missed something. Oh, okay, sorry. Sorry, let me get a few of these and then we'll end it. Better question. Do you think the rumblings of getting Congress to pass a bill making tax write-off movies have to go in the public domain has any chance of becoming law? I hope it does. I don't know, though, because the government's kind of pro-big business. Panavision, do you prefer watching / listening to movies with headphones or speakers? If it's a good speaker, if I'm like by myself, I don't mind headphones. It just depends. Do you think the segment for Jellystone Cartoon Network special... Do you think you'll do a segment for the Jellystone Cartoon Network special they're releasing later this year? Yeah, sure. I didn't know about that, but I would be down to do that. Rems the Artist with Matthew Vaughn in the news. What's another example of director's career slowly getting worse over time? Rob Reiner. Like, he was so good in the 80s. Like, we still talk about the influence of his movies in the 80s, and yet we don't ever see, anyway, we don't talk about how like post North, like nobody remembers any of his movies. It's really depressing. All right, Christian Gutierrez says, Jim, have you ever gotten the chance to watch channels parroting CinemaSins, channels like the Third Birdman and or the Loading Crew? I haven't seen that, but I'll check it out. That's interesting. I do like Man Carrying Thing. That guy's cool. He parodies stuff. Sorry, my nose is like not behaving. I feel like it's being gross. So, ever heard of The Bear on Hulu? Yes, it's a great show. Do you have anything on your computer that will get you arrested? No, I don't think so. Will you be doing an Oscar stream like you did last year? Yes. So, I don't know if I'll be doing an Oscar prediction stream. There will be a show next week, but usually I'll do the Monday after the Oscars. I'll wear the tux and all that. So that will happen. But I don't know how I'm going to do Oscar predictions. I'll have to figure that out. I haven't really sat down with that. But anyway, I think it's time. Hold on. Sorry, I've had this nose thing and now it's being weird. All right. I think it's time for me to go. We went a little over, but I think it's the end of the show. I want to thank everyone who gave a super chat and for the generosity tonight. That was really appreciated. I'm glad we could do an earlier show. I think that worked out. I'm going to go clean some, and then I will have the video out with timestamps in a little bit. But yeah, sorry my nose was getting a little gross towards the end. Not really sick, just phlegmy, I guess. It did? Oh no, that's gross. Anyway, sorry about that. None of your questions. What do you mean? I answered your I did answer your questions. Thought I did. Okay, thoughts on people talking about the Dash Con ball pit, since you were documented as being in the podcast in the ball pit. Oh man, I always like it when Dash Con comes up, to be honest with you. Anyway, I thought I got, well, Austin, you did have a question on Patreon. I did answer a couple of your questions, and one someone else asked right before, so I apologize, Austin. Now I feel bad. I should find an Austin question. Thoughts on people talking about oh, you asked me that before, and then I answered it just now. And I don't see, anyway, I should go. I'm sorry. Apologies, Austin. I didn't answer that. I mean, that's cool. I always like that. Anyway, I think Madam Web will be next. Hopefully it'll be out tomorrow. I hope there'll be a consistent amount of videos up till the Oscars. I believe next week the show will be on Wednesday, but we'll see. Oh, thank you, Austin. That's very nice of you. Last super chat of the night. Cheers to you. Or I believe it is. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the videos coming out. I'm not sure. Oh, there will be an Anatomy of a Fall video. When that comes out, that won't be a premiere because I get into spoilers, and I don't like people to click on a video while it's like, live and like get spoiled by accident. So if you see that, it'll probably just go up. Won't be a premiere thing, but Madam Web will be a premiere. Anyway, thank you all very much for being here. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your generosity. A lot of couples watching together. That was interesting. I don't know how long they stayed, but give a like if you haven't already. And thank you all for your time, money, all those things. You all have a great night. I will see you next time, and have a good weekend, and subscribe if you would like to. Peace.